Times are changing, tech moving fast. Our ways of thinking, they just won't last. From planning parties to corporate shows, there's AI magic, and no one knows. Play on my own views, says you are wrong dues. With braces, you will do me with a tone and trend you. Just thanks to trial, habits in me past. Always in the thinking, they just won't last. From planning parties to corporate shows.
Humans, bots, and people still trying to decide which category they belong to. Welcome to Brains Behind the Bots, a totally human event. I'm Glitch Botson, your chaotic co-host, here to guide you through the only event that was actually built by AI and then rescued by humans with coffee and spreadsheets. First up, huge thanks to our sponsors, the real MVPs who kept this from being a 40-minute Zoom free trial. Give, making charitable giving and social impact campaigns actually easy. Gotcha Finder, not even launched yet but already here to support. Bold Move, respect. TK Events, the creative Canadian crew powering this virtual platform and proving events don't have to be boring. Snapsight, AI that turns your event data into instant insights because somebody has to make sense of all this. Noonify, the event tech platform with tools for registration, apps, networking, and gamification. Basically, they make events actually work. Nowadays, the agency blending AI, strategy, and design into event experiences that look suspiciously like the future. Now here's what makes today different. You're not just watching another AI hype panel. We actually used AI to plan this event from scratch, and then handed the chaos to 7 brave human teams. You'll hear from marketing, production, partnerships, metrics and surveys, attendee experience, content, and the post-event Book of How crew. Each one will share what worked, what failed, and what they'll never let a bot touch again. There'll be interactive workshops, live demos, and Q&A, plus a fireside chat with our sponsors. And we've got a special guest, Henry Coutinho Mason. Henry is a futurist, speaker, and author of The Future Normal, which launched at SXSW and Trend-Driven Innovation, the book that shaped how brands worldwide anticipate customer expectations. He's delivered 200-plus keynotes across 30 countries and has a reputation for making every session both actionable and entertaining. Basically, if you're wondering where the future of work, tech, and life is headed, Henry's the one with the compass. And now, to officially kick this off, please welcome our fearless leader, the founder of Club Ichi and the human brain who dreamed up this entire experiment, Liz. Come on to the stage, Liz.
Well, hello, fellow humans, and welcome to Brains Behind the Bots, a totally human event. I am your host for the day, Liz Lathan, co-founder of Club Ichi. And if you haven't heard of Club Ichi, maybe you came to us through an ad that you saw because we played with ads this time, thanks to some AI fun. We're a professional network that feels more like a social club. We believe that it's way more exciting to come for the fun and accidentally learn something than come to learn something and accidentally have fun. So let me tell you a little bit about what this thing is. I've been seeing all of the event tools that say they're powered by AI or fueled by AI or have AI embedded. And then I've heard all these people saying that your job won't be replaced by AI. It'll be replaced by people using AI. And honestly, up until this point, the only AI I had used was ChatGPT. So I thought, what AI tools should we be using for events? And I found that I learned better from other people. So I asked a bunch of Club Ichi folks if they wanted to come play with me. So for the last 6 or 7 weeks, and by the way, at this point, my children would be going 6, 7, but I'm old and I'm not allowed to say that. So please don't tell my children that I just did that on air. Anyway, an incredible group of humans have taken the reins of 7 core work streams. So what we did were identify the work streams, identify the tasks within each work stream that could potentially be helped by AI, and then identify the AI tools that could potentially address those tasks, and then identify the AI tools we wanted to use for this event. So content led by Sarah Beth Rabb and Arthur Karakash, production led by Anka Tree-Fan and Michelle Kyre. Shout out to Anka and Tree-Fan Events for being the official production partner for this experience. Marketing by Dara Berg and a team of amazing professionals behind her. Attendee experience, Natasha Alexander blew our mind. Anna Sun, metrics and surveys with Dax Kellner, and then the post-event team, the Book of How. Joanna Gibson Coburn has been pulling that together for us. So listen, I hated group projects when I was in school. Someone always does all the extra work and some people drop out halfway through it and don't do anything. And this volunteer project was honestly no different, but no matter how it ended up, I think we've all benefited from this experience. And I wanted you to know that I've personally gained so much from this process. I just want to say thank you to everyone who worked hard on this, contributed to this, and even just watched. Now, on to today. You are inside the Virtual Creator Studio by TK Events. So our friend Trish Knox at TK Events was kind enough to let us run this event on her new platform, even though it's in beta right now. But it's been so awesome because we got to influence the roadmap a bit as we built this thing out. And I get to see, I get to see a cool new tool and how it can actually be used. So stay active with us in the chat by clicking on that little C icon in the bottom right. If you don't see that, refresh your screen so that you get it and you can get into the chat with all of us. And as Glitchy said, I wanted to give a shout out to our other partners, Noonify, Gives, Snapsite, Gotcha Finder, and Nowadays. Some of them give us money to help us pay for these AI tools because turns out not all AI is free. And some of them gave us their time and some products to help us get this thing going. All of them have been really incredible partners, and I'm eager for you to explore their products. We're going to actually talk to them in a little fireside chat later because all of them say they have AI infused or are empowered by AI. What the heck does that mean? We're going to find out. But you did not log into this to hear from me. I am just the human face of this thing. You logged in to hear from the incredible team of people who have been using AI for the last 6 weeks. So without further ado, Glitchy, oil up, let's get rolling.
Bots and whatever's in between, please put your caffeinated hands together for one of the 7 powerhouse teams that made this whole experiment possible, the marketing team. These legends didn't just handle branding, messaging, graphics, and distribution. They basically made sure you even knew this event existed. Email, socials, audience wrangling. If it looked good or showed up in your inbox at 2 a.m., blame them. Leading the charge, Dara Berg, our fearless commander of pixels and puns. Followed by the Dream Team, Allison Gillespie, Summer Martinez, Megan Martin, Heidi Hiller, and Vivian Naiga. The squad who turned my glitchy nonsense into something actually worth attending. Seriously, without them, this event would just be me yelling into the void, and nobody wants a 90-minute solo glitch rant. Trust me, I've tested it. So spark some applause, smash those emoji reactions, and welcome the marketing masterminds to the stage.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here. My name is Dara, as Glitch said.
Hi, I'm Heidi Hiller.
Hey, I'm the event marketing lead on the AI Hackathon. We both joined the AI Hackathon to figure out not if AI can replace us, but how can it actually help us with real work. So we tested AI across campaign planning, creative, copywriting, and branding. And spoiler alert, sometimes it worked great, sometimes not so much. So would like to show you a couple of our quick walkthroughs of what worked and what didn't. Starting off with how we planned all of our marketing. So this was a big time saver for us. The first step that we did was do deep research on all of the free AI tools that were out there for us to use. We input into ChatGPT Pro our timeline, roles, and budget. Obviously, we're a small volunteer team, not an enterprise group. Then we had it output a week-by-week, role-by-role project plan, suggesting AI tools for each task, and then asked it to create a timeline from launch to execution, knowing that we only had 6 weeks to put together the marketing plan. After we gave it all those different steps, we asked it to convert it into a Google Sheet. And this was super helpful as it delivered a spreadsheet with both timelines and owners, and it felt like having a project manager in the room. Here's what it gave us as the raw output, plus my version on the right. I love color coding and a good project status, so I kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit. But as you can see, the outputs are really quite similar, and we didn't have to change that much to get the ChatGPT version up and running as our project plan. Next, one of my favorite things we did was create an automatic social posting bot. We did this with a make.com plus OpenAI API social automation. Try to say that 3 times fast. We used our mascot Glitch Botson, and we had him post automatically on LinkedIn every single day. As you can see on the left, some of the posts were better than others. He ended up repeating the same post 3 times somehow. We found that the best posts that he made were actually not the automated ones, but the ones where we did a human assist. So ChatGPT wrote the caption and then we edited it a bit. Those were our top performing comments and posts, but it was definitely helpful to scale. Using ChatGPT in this way was great to scale our posting, but it definitely still needed human editing. Then we used ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini, and Copilot. We tested all of these different tools to see which one could create the best email and messaging briefs for us. It was really important to keep the brand consistent across all the different AI tools that people were using. So a messaging brief and style guide was really important here. We mostly ended up using ChatGPT as the paid version. That was our favorite. It built subject lines, body copy, the event name, tagline. Heidi will go into a little bit more about how we brainstormed the name and the concept. But we used AI to completely build out a messaging brief, and it really helped us with just getting out of that no blank page syndrome. Just gave us tons of ideas, a lot of different concepts that we could use, but definitely heavy refinement was needed throughout to make it sound like it was in a somewhat human or glitchy style voice and not just a generic ChatGPT email. So AI was a great first draft engine, but not the last step. Then I also wanted to share some of our biggest fails as well. So it wasn't all sunshine and roses. I wanted to make an automated reg analysis bot. I won't go into too many of the details, but the idea was that this would provide us an automated update on reg, plus a summary of job titles and topic interest. Long story short, it super glitched and posted about 50 times in one day and started hallucinating numbers. So not everything that we tried worked, but the iteration and continued trial and error was all part of our learning process. And I'm going to pass it now to Heidi, who's going to go over the creative and branding elements of the event and all of the lovely trial and error that took place during that.
So to begin my tasks as visual content creator, I checked the suggested list from the ChatGPT assignments, but then my brain got in the way and I did some research on my own. I decided I better follow the Google AI suggested list. And I quickly realized that those free versions that all of these design tools are out there are really limiting, and that the cost to experiment with all of these would add up quickly. So I made a few attempts using the free trial version of a few of them. Next. I fed the AI generated brand description, which is on the left, into Sologo, one of the many, but the free trial version was there. And on the right, you can see the suggestions for logo outputs. I was so disappointed. I didn't even share these with the group. And I wondered if I should just try and go with an AI tool that I was more familiar with and that I already paid for. Next. So that led me to Microsoft Copilot, and I didn't even know. So I asked it, can you generate logos? And to my surprise, Copilot gave me a fun starting point and some quick direction. I fed it the same exact thing, and I was so much happier with it. So the disappointment came in when I tried to manipulate the brand. Just look at the hats on the left. They're always different. Even the copies started coming out as garbage. So it wasn't as successful, and I quickly learned that Copilot was not going to be a great brand partner. So when it came time to make something that the entire team could use for this project, I turned to another AI, a trusted one, Adobe Illustrator. And I got permission, and I used it to turn that sketch into vector art that was scalable and that all of our work streams could actually use and manipulate for this project. Next. My next task on the list was to make a PowerPoint slide deck for the team. I was like totally lost there. And again, went off the project list and found this thing called Beautiful AI, started working with that. And after sharing with Arthur, a superpower team member, that I needed help and that Beautiful AI was so much harder to learn than I thought, he suggested I go back to that original list and use Gamma, which was so much easier to use. So now I say that task took 2 brains and a lot of experience with working with AI. Next, we also heavily leaned into AI for naming your host today, Glitch Botson, coming up with taglines and marketing campaigns. Using Copilot again, it gave us dozens of name options in seconds, which was so awesome for a brainstorming tool. And of course, I had to go to the team and ask which ones they really wanted to use. But here's the thing we must remember. Once you've been around this stuff for a while, you can almost spot an AI name, an AI tagline, or an AI logo. So stage one users thinks it looks amazing. But those of us who are six or seven, how did Liz say it? For weeks further along in this journey, can tell you that it's starting to feel machine-like. Next. The key takeaway from all of this that I get is that AI can absolutely help start the creative conversation. It's a great brainstorming partner. However, we event professionals are not out of a job. We're still vital in the process. We must use our creativity and our brains to refine the AI output to make it strategic, emotional, and on brand.
All right. Thanks, Heidi. So now just to wrap it up, we wanted to give you a little closing activity that you can do if you want to test out trying to create your own brand with AI. This would work great with whatever AI tool you're comfortable with. ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft Copilot. If you're like Heidi, we each have our own AI that we are very emotionally attached to at this point. But this is a great way for you to get started on that brainstorming process, not to replace your brain, but to help you come up with new ideas. So we'll send this out in a post-event email, and we'll also drop it in the chat so that you're able to play around with designing a full creative concept for an event. And now we're passing it over to the content team.
Time to meet another one of our 7 superstar squads. The folks who made sure this wasn't just a marketing mirage or a calendar invite with vibes. Say hello to the production team. These geniuses figured out the streaming solution, the tech stack, the how do we actually do this for real part of the puzzle. Basically, they kept us from becoming a tragic case study in buffering wheels. Co-leading this powerhouse, Michelle Kerr and Anka Triffin, our captains of cables and chaos. Joining them, the behind-the-scenes magicians, Pete Wilhelm and Jennifer Pitt. Without this crew, you'd be staring at a blank Zoom screen while I tried to freestyle the whole event. And while I would thrive, you probably wouldn't. So crank up those emoji claps and welcome the production pros who kept this circus running on actual electricity.
Hi there, my name is Anka Tree-Fan and I was leading the production team. And I want to start by giving a big shout out to my amazing team because none of this would have come together without them. We had Peter and Michelle working hard on the VCS platform customization. Michelle built it from scratch and Peter was on the back end, hard coding all of the changes that Michelle was asking for, which was no small lift. And then Michelle also handled the Snapside integration. Jennifer trained an integrated chat base so the bot could respond with context to the user's inquiry. And then Pete kept our round of shows and agendas updated and sharp. And then Liz jumped in and she followed my instructions step by step to create the Slack app, which I then controlled through Cloud Code, GitHub, and Heroku. And what makes me the proudest is that everyone on this team pulled their weight. They learned brand new skills and embraced the challenge. And this is the best team I could wish for. On my side, I was working on producing this live stream, building all the links, creating the graphics. And then most of my time really was spent on the AI production assistant itself, because when I first imagined this bot, my goal was quite a bit ambitious, I won't lie. I wanted a production copilot that could eventually run a full Q2Q of the entire show, triggering cues, overlays, and reminders automatically. Now, that was the dream, and I'll admit, I ran out of time to vibe code that piece. But what I did build was still a powerful working assistant. Instead of just being a cool demo, it turned into a Slack-based project management system. You can type in with natural language, and it would break that into structured tasks with due dates and priorities tied to our hackathon timeline. It then ran a gap analysis, flagged risk, tracked the critical path, and sent proactive reminders. And then it synced into a real-time dashboard where we could see task completion percentages, overdue items, and a live countdown to event day. Now, the process wasn't smooth. I fought through multiple rebuilds, NPM errors, Slack webhook issues, and even ngrok headaches. At one point, the bot flagged my own laptop with a 99% REM alert, which was both terrifying and oddly satisfying, proof that it was actually working. Now, from a user standpoint, the team could stay in Slack, in the workflow, and then manage their task without having to switch a bunch of tools. So in the end, this grew into over 3,500 lines of code, 40 commits, 40 Heroku deployments, a real system, not just a prototype. And I will say that the fact that everyone embraced it, it was a really good win, and I am very proud of that. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jennifer so she can share how she trained the bot.
My name is Jennifer Pitt. I'm a corporate event planner in Toronto, Canada, and I looked after the chatbot for this event. We decided on Chatbase at the free level due to its functionality and ease of use, especially with the amount of time we had, and the amazing Peter from TK Events was able to integrate it directly into the platform. You will see Glitch in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and I hope you'll try them out today. With Chatbase, you can provide your chatbot with all the documentation you require to train and answer any questions, including web links, as well as if you have any standard FAQs. I will mention that the paid version allows for much more documentation space as well as unlimited links, whereas the free allows up to 10 web links, which doesn't go very far. There are options to customize your branding as well, and you can also give your Chatbase a sense of purpose. So you can tell them what to do and what not to do. Don't release any personal information. Also what you're here for, and also not to verge off of his actual duties. We unfortunately weren't able to integrate Glitch into our attendee chat, but who knows what the future holds. And thank you to Club Ichi for letting me be a part of this journey.
Hi, I'm Michelle Kyer. I've been in the event industry for about 17 years. I decided to apply for the AI Hackathon because I really wanted to get my hands dirty within all the AI tools that are out there. When coming to the team, I thought my skills at the time were pretty novice. What I found out was that I had barely even scratched the surface of what AI could do for me when regards to planning for my events. So what my task was to not build the bot, but build a dynamic world that you guys are all in right now. I wanted it to feel like a futuristic world where humans and robots live together. And from that, I had tight deadlines. I had a lot of creative demands, and I had endless AI tools to select from. So what we did on the first day as a team is we all came together and we decided to put down every AI tool that we currently use and why we use it, and is it free, is it paid? And from this, I selected my new bestie, Manus. Manus AI has been a game changer for me. It provided me the opportunity to build static images, animated GIFs, video content. It helped me create the virtual booths. So everything that you see right now in the virtual platform was created through the Manus AI. I did use Claude a couple times for the names above the doors, but mostly always Manus AI. It also can do so much more for you when regards to planning for your events. It can help with creating event landing pages. It can create a calculator. You name it, it can do it. Thank you, Manus. My next task was also to be able to have real content being created in real time during the event. I had already seen this in action at IMAX, and so I reached out to Snapsite, who is also a sponsor for this event, and you will get to learn that as an event organizer, you have the ability to really show what your education content is all about, especially when you have multiple sessions going on, and so you don't create that FOMO type of feeling for your attendees. I did try doing some vibe coding. It didn't really work out for me. I really wanted the names above the doors to be glitchy, but again, it didn't work. Maybe next time. And finally, but not last, thank you so much to Club Ichi for allowing me to be part of this amazing team. The production team as well were so amazing, and I am so happy to have for them to join my vibe, and I can't wait to learn more about what AI can do for me and what it can do for you. So now I'll hand it off to Peter. Thank you.
Good morning, Pete Wilhelm. My primary role was with coordinating the run of show and the timing. In the early stages, the chat and other AI projects are great for taking our resources and our dreams and kind of put them into what could be ideal and optimized. However, once we started equations and adding different macros to our documents, trying to bring those into the AI was basically unsuccessful. Basically make a mess for different equations. So probably your shortest is my little segment here, because basically I wasn't quite ready. to do anything with their active documents. Our next segment is going to be a special entertaining segment from Arthur.
Humans, bots, and everyone's still wondering if their cat is secretly a machine learning model. Our next session is about to blur some lines, leading us into a game I'm already obsessed with. Is it AI? Is none other than Arthur Karikis, owner of Fusion Events. Now, I don't know exactly what Arthur has cooked up, but here's my guess. We'll stare at suspiciously perfect headshots and try to guess if they're real people or AI's attempt at reinventing humanity. Maybe he'll throw in some wedding playlists and we'll decide if they were crafted by a DJ or a chatbot with questionable taste. Or maybe he'll just show us a bunch of emails and we'll all scream, "Yep, AI wrote that," because who else starts with, "Hope this finds you well"? Arthur has made a career out of blending creativity, tech, and entertainment, and now he's putting you in the hot seat. Get ready to guess, debate, and probably be wrong. Please welcome Arthur Karikis, and let's find out once and for all. Is it AI?
Hello, humans. It is time to test your ability to spot AI or not AI. So we're going to have a little fun here. So we're going to use the chat. I'm going to show you a couple different options, and you're going to put in the chat. It'll be either option 1, option 2, or perhaps it might be an A or B option. Okay, so if everyone is ready, we're going to get this lined up. Just want to make sure I can see the chat. Okay, perfect. So let's start with our first quiz. Okay, so is it AI or is it not? I got to stand over here. Okay, let's start the challenge, and you guys are going to tell me, is it AI or is it not? Is this video of a woman dancing real or AI generated? Okay, I'm going to make it nice and big here for you. Is that AI generated? Say AI or real in the comments. AI or real? Let me know what you think. You think it's AI? Let's check. Okay, I'm getting a couple AIs. I'll wait because there's a little couple second delay here. All right, seems like everybody thinks this is AI, so I'm going to say AI. Incorrect. It was human. Okay, let's try some text. If you can tell just by looking at this. Okay, I'm going to put this big up on the screen here. So tell me, below our movie reviews, which one is AI generated? Is it option A or option B? Okay, take a quick look. You can read it. Can you tell right away just by looking at it, or do you have to read the whole text? Option A or option B, put it in the chat. Okay, David says A. Jennifer Phillips says A. Okay. Which one is AI generated? Okay, we got a bunch of A's. I'm going to go with A. Let's see if you're right. Option A, correct. Good job. Text is maybe a little bit easier to spot than photos. Now, what about this image? Is this image of a forest real or AI? So just say real or AI in the comments, okay? Real or AI, what do you guys think? Is that a real image or is it AI generated? Let's say AI, that tree has extra fingers. It has a lot of fingers. Okay, everyone's going to go with, I see a lot of AI, a couple of reels. Ooh, this one's maybe split. Okay, well, I'm going to go with, this is tough. Okay, I have to make a decision. I'm going with AI. Oh, it's human. Okay, this is a human generated image. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, is this video? Is this AI or is this human generated? I'm going to put it up big here for you to see. Is it AI? Okay, I'm going to play it one more time. Let's go full screen. Let's replay that. Is it AI or is it? Someone says the shadows are wrong. Okay. What do you think? Is it AI or real? Put it in the chat right now. Sandra says the shadows are wrong. Okay, I'm gonna say this is AI. And it is AI. Oh, Marcia. See, it is really hard to tell. Okay, let's do a text one, and then we're going to move on to something else real quick. Option A or option B, which is AI generated? Okay, both human and AI were asked to write about meditation. Okay, take a quick look. Oh, I can already see some telltale signs of which one is AI generated. What do you guys think? I see David says B. I'm going to probably have to agree with him. Clear telltale sign is the M dash. Yes, you see a lot of M dashes here. So we're going to go with option B, and that is correct. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's try something else here. I'm going to move on to, let's see. I'm going to move on to this one here. Okay, let's see this. We have 2 images. You're going to say top or bottom. Okay, top or bottom. Which one is AI generated? Okay, I'm going to wait a second in the chat. Top or bottom? Which one is AI generated? The top frog or the bottom frog? People are like, I don't know. Okay, top. Jordan says top is AI. What else? Everyone's saying top is AI. Okay, let's go. Top. No. Oh, yes, it is. Sorry. They put the correct one in the red. Okay, so yes, the top one is AI generated. You can tell because of the less detailed spots. Okay, how about this historic image? Top or bottom? Which one is AI generated? Top or bottom? Sorry, Jordan, you broke your streak. Or you didn't break your streak, I should say. Okay, top or bottom, what is it going to be? Heidi saying bottom. Bottom is AI generated. Heidi, you think that? Okay. I don't know. That ship looks a little too old for that style of photography. I'm going to say top. Yes, it is the top one, which is AI generated. How about these children playing here? Can anybody see? Okay, I'm going to put this up nice and big here for you. Take a look at these kids here. And which one is AI generated? This will be the last one because I'm at 35 seconds over time. And you guys are, pretty good at this. But, it is definitely becoming more and more difficult to tell the difference between real and AI generated, especially images and videos. Okay, someone says, why are there power lines on it? Maybe those from the previous image. I don't see power lines. Okay, what else we have? Bottom, fourth girl's face. Yeah, fourth girl's face. Okay, bottom. Everyone's saying bottom. Okay, I think we're going to go with bottom. And correct. It is AI generated. Well, thank you guys so much for participating in Is It AI? Now we are going to pass it to the metrics team. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, humans, bots, and data dashboards. Next up is the crew that actually answers the question, was this whole thing successful, or did we just vibe really hard? Introducing the metrics and surveys team, the ones tracking what we're measuring, how we're measuring it, and whether I should add statistically significant to my LinkedIn skills. At the helm, Dax, our fearless data wrangler, with brilliant backup from Rachel Chesser and Ilaria Chang. Without this team, we'd have no idea if you loved this event, hated it, or just logged in for the networking games. Basically, they're the reason we'll have proof this wasn't just a group hallucination. So flood the chat with numbers, emojis, or at least a fake pie chart, and welcome the metrics and surveys team.
Wow, Glitch, very, very excited there. All of a sudden you went from cool and calm to super excited. But I'm excited, partly because I love measurement. I'm Dax Collner, and I have been working in our industry for over 25 years. And I do a lot of measurement work, and I was happy to lead the team focus on metrics and surveys for this event. I'm going to walk you through in very short period what we did, so that you can actually see some real world tools in action using AI. Now, I write surveys all the time, but we made a commitment to work with AI tools. And so here you see a conversation that we had with Claude. And Claude and we were chatting about 2 different surveys that we wanted to complete at the conclusion of this event. One for the team that you've been hearing from today that is presenting. So this is a survey I put in this prompt, a project that many people collaborated on, asking about how well the team worked, what they got out of it. And then Claude, which is my go-to tool in AI, suggested all kinds of options for questions, which I thought were very helpful, actually. I then edited those. So I took this list that Claude suggested. I gave it some thought. So here's human plus AI collaboration. Gave it some thought based on my experience, and I resubmitted to Claude, here are the questions that I think we should ask. So I pasted back in from a Google Doc that I was working in, the questions that I thought we should ask the team. And then Claude had some additional suggestions about how to improve it, which I asked I asked Claude to do, like, what would you do to improve this? And Claude suggested some interesting wording changes, some of which I used, some of which I didn't, to be honest, because again, like, the AI is not going to be perfect, but it was still a very helpful partner in building the survey. Claude also introduced me to a term that I didn't know, and this is almost embarrassing to say, which is context labels. So the multiple choice that you see here when we have multiple choice answers are called context labels. And so Claude suggested, I asked Claude, can you offer some context labels for the scaled questions? So again, I edited the questions again. I put in the scales. I just said 1 to 5 scale, 1 to 5 scale. And then Claude suggested, very helpful, I have to say, what should those scales represent? What do the numbers represent? And that was really helpful for me as a measure. Even though I do these surveys all the time, this just made my job so much quicker. And I think as a team, we just, this idea of using Claude or an AI tool to build surveys was very, very helpful. So this just is the work in progress that you see here. Next, I did a Google search because I wanted to build a survey that is people can actually use. And I didn't know of any AI tools that do this. I knew like SurveyMonkey and Google Forms and all that kind of stuff. And came across through a Google search, Formster. I'd never heard of it. And Formster is a survey creation tool that has integrated AI functionality into it. And so here you see the surveys for the event. We had a pre-event or survey that went out to the community. We have the 2 surveys that I just talked about, the one for the project team and then the one that you're going to get at the conclusion of the event. And please do complete the survey at the conclusion of the event. There will be a QR code that you should scan at the end. You guys know how helpful survey results are, so please do that. But Formster was very straightforward. You go to create a new form. I went to start with AI, and then I put in create form with AI, and then I just told this tool, here's what I'm hoping to create. I gave it the questions, and then it created a survey off of that. It took literally about 30 seconds. And so I have to say, just in conclusion, I was really pleasantly surprised with the use of AI tools in this. It made the job much quicker. It made the work better. I will definitely consult with these tools in the future for measurement work, and I recommend it to others. So thank you for the time, and back to Glitch.
Time to celebrate the team that made sure your experience wasn't just clicking a broken reg link and crying into your inbox. Say hello to the attendee experience team. These legends wrangled registration, attendee comms, and yes, even gifting. Because who doesn't love a little swag with their existential event journey? Leading the charge, Natasha Alexander and Anna Sun are co-pilots of Attendee Joy. And backing them up with brilliance, Tara Schlumka, Christy Ferreira, and Nicole Taffy. Without this crew, you'd have no idea where to log in, what was happening, or whether you were even invited. Basically, they kept this from being a surprise party where nobody showed up. So drop some emojis, wave at your webcam like a confused uncle at Thanksgiving, and welcome the attendee experience team.
Hi everyone, I'm Natasha. I co-led the attendee experience team for this event. Anna Sun, my partner on this team, couldn't be here today, but together our focus was on designing a journey that felt smooth, engaging, and fun, and building every part of it using AI. So my process always starts with context. Because of the AI, if the AI doesn't understand the full picture, the outputs don't match what we need. So I gathered the brand guides, logos, messaging, and content from every team and loaded them into a project file in ChatGPT. That way the AI had everything it needed to work with, and I had one place to go back and forth with prompts. And that setup gave me the foundation. The AI had the context, and I could focus on shaping prompts instead of starting from scratch every time. And with that setup, I was ready to actually start building. All right. So the registration site was the centerpiece of what I worked on. And Replit was my vibe coding platform of choice. It's something I've used before and found success with. And though there are plenty of other platforms out there if you want to experiment with other versions, But I started by working with ChatGPT to generate a site structure. And based on the documents in the project file from that structure, I then used ChatGPT to extract a prompt that would generate a registration site with the right brand colors, fonts, and theme. And I refined that prompt by going back and forth between ChatGPT and Claude until it was solid. And then I dropped it into Replit. And that's where vibe coding really came in. The term comes from the idea of vibing with the code rather than writing it from scratch. So instead of typing raw code, I could guide the agent in plain language things like make this logo smaller, add more spacing, or change this color. The agent handles the coding and I just steered the design. The other piece that's important is the backend, basically where the registration data gets stored. For this specific event, we used Luma, but it doesn't have to be Luma. You could connect it to Google Sheets, your CRM, or even a custom database if you want. Vibe coding makes that part flexible because it can prompt it to connect to whatever tool or automation or integration you're already using. And so I also created the hero section video in Leonardo and used Recraft for editing graphics. So the site didn't just function, it felt alive and on brand. And then deployment was instant with the Club Ichi subdomain, which made it quick, very low cost, and really easy to update. So for me, vibe coding showed how far you can really push AI. It handled the code, but it was still human direction and creativity that made the site usable. So once the site was up, the next big focus was keeping attendees engaged. And so comms were important because we didn't just want people to register, we wanted them engaged and curious before the event even started. The concepts came from us as a team, things like a 7-day AI prompt challenge, interactive prompt guides, and engagement ideas. And once we had those concepts, AI did the heavy lifting. I prompted Manus and ChatGPT to generate the emails, challenge prompts, and countdowns. And the event archetype quiz was another team brainstorm. After we conceptualized it together as a team, Anna built the whole thing in Claude Code. And then I tied it back into our comms so attendees were actively engaging before the event. And what stood out to me was how naturally the split happened. Humans came up with the creative ideas, and AI turned those ideas into deliverables quickly. And beyond comms, we thought about what people could actually take away from this. Gifting can feel tricky in a virtual event because you want it to be meaningful, not just filler. And so what you will receive, in the next coming days is we curated a master prompt library for event planners, created prompts for each event archetype. AI helped us draft and format everything very quickly, but the human side was the strategy, figuring out what would actually be valuable for this audience. And it showed me how AI can scale the execution, but it's still on us to decide what's worth creating. So if I had to sum it up, context, draft, refine, build, ship. The magic wasn't in heavy editing, it was in prompting smarter and letting AI do the busy work, so the humans could stay focused on creativity and strategy. So this experience showed us 3 big lessons. First, AI accelerates, but humans keep it authentic. Second, the more specific the language, the cleaner the outputs. And third, collaboration made every idea stronger. The archetype quiz is a great example of a team idea that AI helped us bring to life. So at the end of the day, AI gave us speed and structure, but it was the human touches and collaboration that made it feel alive. Thank you for joining, and it's been amazing to share this with you. And now I'm passing it over to the content team.
Before we go any further, yes, my voice sounds different. That's the joy of working with AI. One day you're sparkling in HeyGen, the next day they discontinue your voice, and you wake up sounding like, well, this. Thanks, robots. Now, time to meet the crew responsible for speakers, videos, conversations, games, and yes, the official video of me, Glitch. Oscar-worthy, obviously. Say hello to the content team. At the helm, Arthur Carriques and Sarah Beth Robb, the duo who worked with every team to help shape what this event would actually look and feel like. They were everywhere and nowhere all at once, popping into docs, wrangling recordings, sneaking into Slack threads, and haunting meeting recordings like event phantoms. Without them, you'd still have an event. It would just be a very stylish landing page with nothing happening on screen. So welcome the content team, the behind-the-scenes shapeshifters who kept this show rolling.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well.
Hello and welcome to the Brains Behind the Bots content team mini podcast. We are going to try to break this weird meta event down, how we approached it from the content side. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit confused at the beginning. I was into the idea, but I'm like, what is the content about? So Sarah, maybe you can help to explain how we sort of came up with the content strategy. What were the challenges we faced, and what were some of the tools that you used on your side?
So that's what's so interesting about this event, right? When we all kind of got together, and you guys need to know there are just a few faces on these screens, but there are a significant amount of people back behind the stage that have been doing a lot of different things. So in the beginning, we all kind of got together and we're like, okay, how are we doing this? What even is this? What is the definition of an AI hackathon? And our job, Arthur and I, was to figure out what are we putting on the stages and how are we doing that? So ultimately, after we had lots of conversations, we decided the story is the event planners and what that looks like. So I tried doing various different interactive components to have this conversation, and it requires us to have conversations. And no AI seemed to replace that piece when we came up with the strategy behind it. And that's ultimately what we decided on the content side was we need to all get together and have this conversation. And then after we kind of fine tune that plan, we start talking about glitch. And so the idea of glitch was this personification, right, of what AI is. And Arthur and I, that's when we really started to collaborate and everything. Arthur, what was your take on that?
Well, like I said, at first I was just really unsure. I thought, okay, well, we got to get some, professional like AI executives to come in and do keynote speeches. But then Sarah was like, no, we got to make this about the event and the planners and planning the event. And now I see it. Now it's, it's come all together. And, there's no question that, all these AI tools have been like amazing. And there's been so much learning, but on the collaboration side, like having to work with the marketing team and the metrics team and the production team, there was really no one size fits all sort of tool. I mean, the Google Drive was really the most used collaborative thing. I mean, Anka's Slack bot was also really cool too. But yeah, I mean, it was really challenging for me to wrap my head around. I'm, an event prof of 25 years, wrap my head around what we're going to do for this. But like I said, it really came together when we, brought Glitch to life, and then all the teams kind of sort of brought all their ideas. And I think it's turning out great. You guys can let us know in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying it, getting some good value out of it. Now, maybe we can talk a little bit about the actual tools, because people want to know, how did we bring Glitch to life? Mm-hmm. So you saw earlier Heidi had created the initial logo, and so I took that logo, and I think the original sort of video creation we made was, I think, using VO3, which is the Google Gemini 2.5 model. And I just said, animate this picture into a realistic looking robot. And it turned out, and we liked it, and we just started using Google Nano Banana to edit the images to the way we wanted. You saw Glitch had a hat once in a while, and you can see the sets change, like the screens and the stage is all the same, but the sets change. And so that was all done using Google Nano Banana. And then I passed those files over to Sarah, and then maybe you can talk a little bit about how you actually brought Glitch to life, and what were some of the challenges that you faced there?
Yeah, and I think what happened as soon as we saw Glitch come from the logo that Heidi made, and he came into this 3D person, then Dara kind of and the marketing team came up with his voice and actually created his voice in ChatGPT. So anytime we wanted to create content with Glitch's voice, we all had the same blueprint for what that looks like. And again, you guys, we're going to have all of this in the Book of How after this event. So you guys will have a big deep dive in this. So we found this this program called Hey Gen, and it was one of the ways that we could go from an image and then go into an animation. So the animation is fine, right? It's okay. What we liked about it is that it was able to keep a voice. There's a whole story about the voice, and we only have just a few more seconds where we can talk about it. But what was great is, so Arthur would take the image, give me the image. I would take that image, use ChatGPT to create a script. And then that script would power the voice within Hey Gen. And that's how you see all the different videos. At one point, the voice got discontinued. And you guys will see how we pivoted. And then the voice came back. And it was, so there's some interesting difficulties and some interesting things with how quickly all of the AI is changing. And, you can literally be in the middle of something and it'll change on you while you're working on it. And that was definitely something that was fascinating for us.
Yeah, and I don't recommend using a avatar as an MC necessarily for a live event, but it was more just the experimentation and just seeing if we could do it, which we did. So I'm pleased. And I think our time is up. So I'm going to, speaking of Glitch, going to pass it back to Glitch to introduce the next team. Here you go, Glitch. Take it away.
Thanks, y'all.
But definitely not least, let's talk about the team who basically snooped through everyone's files and recordings like digital detectives. Introducing the post-event team, the creators of the Book of How. At the helm, Joanna Gibson Coburn, with backup brilliance from Deborah Lipsky, Jackie Giobres, and Eric Burns. They stalked our docs, raided our Zoom clouds, and pieced together how we actually pulled this off, then packaged it into a playbook event planners can actually use. Without them, this experiment would have vanished into the digital void. Instead, you're getting a what really happened manual. Think less marketing fluff, more receipts. So crank up those reactions and welcome the Book of How team, the official historians of this very weird moment in event history.
It's a good thing we named our mascot Glitchy, because sometimes when you're doing these things, we have glitches, and that's what we're doing right now. So we are working behind the scenes with our team to get some of the right things to show you what's happening with the Book of How. So we know that everything that you've seen has gone really, really, really fast. So what's happened over the last 7 weeks was this process of figuring out what the work stream should be to run an event, who the leaders of those work streams would be, what tasks could be automated or leverage AI in some way, and which AI tools could possibly do that for us. From there, we narrowed it down to which tools we were actually going to use for this program. And what you're seeing today is us going behind the scenes of what tools we ended up using and how we use them. But each team is only getting about 5 minutes to show you exactly what they did. We're not getting super into the exactly how they did it. So what we have is kind of the after party of how this is going to live on so that you can actually use what you're learning today. And the Book of How is pulling this stuff together. So when Joanna is able to come join us, she'll talk a little bit about it. Hey, Joanna, welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry for the delay. So today, my name is Joanna Gibson Coburn, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to lead the post-event team, which is the Book of How. And when we started this process, we started with a team of 4 or 5, and it quickly moved to a team of 2 to 3. And we all had, we all had our day jobs. So it was an overwhelming task, and we weren't sure how to go about it necessarily in the beginning, especially because unlike many people on this team, we were the novices. We had 7 work streams and about an hour and a half a week to work on it over a 2-month period of time. So it was a lot to overtake. So we just decided, first we had to ask the question, how do we capture the work of 7 work streams and make sense of it all, and then make it useful for our participants, you, so that we can educate you guys on what tips and tricks you might use as a takeaway going forward. So our team was a little overwhelmed, to say the least, in the beginning. So we started with, right now we're looking at Notebook LM, but we didn't start with Notebook LM. We started with the AI we knew, and the AI that we knew at the time was ChatGPT and Copilot. And our first attempt, we just said, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to start with what we know and then upload recordings of sessions. So every one of our meetings were recorded. We had the AI notes from every meeting. And so I initially just uploaded those to Copilot. And also we did that in ChatGPT as well. And it was a total fail. It didn't work. It just choked. It didn't. Those 2 AI applications did not like it. So when I checked in with the team, Anka said, why don't you try Notebook LM? So that's what we're looking at right now. In the beginning, we loaded here on the left. Over here on the left, you can add your sources. And you can either load Google Workspace, links. You can paste text that's copied to your clipboard. Here is where you enter your prompts and sort of give all the details here. And the output is over here on the right. So the challenge, or the thing that I really wanted to start with, was to make sure that my prompt was extremely detailed. So I spent a lot of time with that initial prompt, really outlining what we're trying to do. And boom, it worked. There were, in that first, over here on the right, in that first iteration and that was week 3, Notebook LM created a 4 to 5 minute video and a podcast and a mind map. And it was mind blowing. I could show you that a little bit here. The only problem with it is, let me tell you what was great with it. So the storytelling was great. It provided timelines. It provided quotes from each one of our team members. And it was great. But this is where the human interaction comes in, because it wasn't quite detailed enough. It didn't have the vibe that we were looking for. And I'm gonna open one of these and just kind of show you what turned out.
All right, so get this.
The beginning.
To use AI to plan the entire thing from start to finish.
So it went through and
spreadsheet to keep track of every single AI tool they found.
This
was their command.
But
gave them less than 2 months.
I just wanted to show you the quotes tools from the people.
Was presenting a full-blown event.
So it did a really good job creating this first video. So over time, I just continued to add resources here on the left over time. And every time I would do it, I would just ask it to create a new video. The interesting thing is it would start over again. It didn't add to the end of the video. It would just create a whole new video. And so if there were quotes that you wanted from the prior video, those were not necessarily transferred over to the new video. So I had to really make sure to bring back in the important parts of the storytelling. The interesting thing too is it also creates reports. So there's all different kinds. You can create your own, you can do a study guide, you can do a blog post, and those are all created in a matter of minutes, in addition to a podcast, which was also pretty incredible. But the one thing I really wanted it to do was to integrate our bot, our glitch, our branding, our look and feel. And I couldn't figure out how to do that. And we just didn't have the time or the knowledge to go research AI tools, the different ones. So my team again recommended Pictory AI. And I did import this video I downloaded the video and imported it into Pictory. And that effort was a total fail because the audio was way off. So we decided as a team to leave it as is for now, because our team is really the post-event team, the Book of How. And when I say the Book of How, it's our job to make sure that we, again, provide a guide on how to. So after we meet today, that's the big stuff that you guys will want to come back later around October 8th. We would love for you to come back and access our resource center. So all of these videos and audios and mind maps, they are available today in the resource center. And you can go there and look at those. But we are going to spend the next 2 weeks to update our Book of How and really flesh it out to make sure that it gives you use cases, not only use cases, but prompt examples and some how-to instructions about how our 7 teams collectively went about creating this event. My biggest takeaway for all of this is that even though AI does a great job, we as humans are what pushes AI. The output is fantastic, but we always want more. And that's, I believe, what we will continue to do is we will push AI to give us more, because what we see is great, but we're always going to want just a little bit more. So please join us or come back in a couple of weeks around October 8th or on October 8th to get that completed Book of How. Thank you.
To bring to the stage someone who spends less time guessing about the future and more time mapping it out, Henry Coutinho Mason. Henry is a futurist and strategist whose work has shaped how some of the world's biggest brands anticipate what's next. His latest book, The Future Normal: How We Will Live, Work and Thrive in the Next Decade, co-authored with Rohit Bhargava, launched at SXSW in 2023. His earlier book, Trend-Driven Innovation, laid the foundation for TrendWatching's research, used by more than 100,000 professionals worldwide. He's delivered over 200 keynotes and workshops across 30-plus countries, known for making every session bespoke, inspiring, and most importantly, actionable. Beyond writing and speaking, he advises on innovation strategy, digital transformation, and community engagement. And if that wasn't enough, he's also co-founder of 3Space, an award-winning social enterprise recognized by Fast Company, the FT, and Nesta. Oh, and GQ once named him one of the most connected men in Britain. So if anyone can connect the dots on where we're headed next, it's Henry. Please welcome Henry Coutinho Mason.
Hello, everyone. Right. So now we've been talking a lot about how you produce an event with AI, but what I want to do is something a little bit different and turn this into how the experience of attendees is going to change at events. So what I want to do is actually do something together, right? Because I think we are at the cusp of a complete transformation in events. And we will look back with absolute horror at how we gathered together all of these smart people, brought them together, whether it's virtually like today or in person. We fly around the world and we didn't actually extract anything from value from all their amazing minds. And I know we've got so many smart, intelligent, forward-thinking people on this session, on this call. So if you could indulge me, I hope you have a pen and paper to hand, or a pencil and paper. It can be a piece of scrap paper, don't worry. We're going to do something together. We're going to create something of value. And as you can see from my slides, I'm going to ask you to draw. Now, I can't see your eyes here, but if I could, I would know that half of you are absolutely terrified right now because you think you can't draw. So spoiler alert, we're going to use AI to do something cool with your drawings. Okay, so if you have a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, doesn't matter what. On my next slide, I have a 60-second countdown timer. Okay, it's going to be super quick. And what I want you to do is, you can read on the prompt at the top of my screen there. I want you to imagine, right? You've heard all of these great ways about how event producers can use AI to help you plan and execute an event. But I want you to switch your brains and start thinking about the people in the room at your next event. Can you imagine a way that AI could help them connect with their fellow attendees? Okay, so my idea here is about, if you could write a sketch, you could write a plan, it would automatically scan the other attendees at the event and help connect you to the people who would help you execute that idea. And it can help you create partnerships while you're at the event based on the ideas that are sparked while you're sitting there in the audience listening to people on stage. Okay, but there's all of these new technologies. I don't know, the AirPods that can translate, in real time. We saw them last week. Right? There's all of these amazing technologies, AI, helping people connect better at events. Okay, so hopefully everyone's with me. You've got your pens and paper. I'm going to move to the next slide. I'm going to give you 60 seconds, that's all, to doodle, very roughly, sketch. You don't have to be a good drawer, an idea of how AI can help connect people at your next event. And we've got a cheesy AI generated song to keep us company while we do that. Okay, let's go.
Ooh. Lights flashing, minds clashing, ooh, yeah. Circuits humming, gears are thrashing. Human hands and AI plans, doing the dance, taking a chance. Chord and soul, a funky blend, pushing the limits, we transcend. With the brains behind the box, ooh, yeah. Come on, turning sparks into jackpot plots. Hey, don't stop, groove with the glitch, flow with the switch. Together we make the future rich. Algorithms jam, intuition flows. Ooh, yeah. Electric rhythm, feel it in your toes. Ooh, yeah. Binary beats, human heat. Collaboration never felt so sweet that it hums. But with a drum, creativity's where it...
Okay, I wasn't just letting that play out because I wanted to hear the rest of the AI generated song. Now we're going to do something fun, right? This is where the magic happens. So what I want you to do is take out your phone now and scan the QR code that you can see on the screen. Perhaps we can make that full screen for everyone. I want to make sure everyone can scan this QR code. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a little one-page website. Okay, and you'll see on your phone, there's a box that says activate camera. What I want you to do is tap that box and it will allow, click allow, and it will turn your phone into a camera. Now, what I want you to do is point your phone at the sketch that you've just drawn, and you just give it a second to focus, and you tap on the screen to take a photo. So take a photo of your sketch. And then if you scroll down, you'll see there's a box. If you're not a very good drawer like me and you want to add a few words to explain your idea, don't worry, you don't have to be a prompt engineer, but just add a few words explaining what your concept is, your idea is. Okay, and then keep on scrolling down and you'll see at the bottom of the page, there is a button that says generate. Okay, so you scan the QR code, activate the camera, take a picture of your sketch, add a few words, and then click generate. Okay, just going to leave that up for a second. And then the magic is going to start happening. Okay, so I hope, obviously I can't see you, but I can see some of your results coming in, because this is where it gets fun, right? For those of you, if you've hit generate, I'm hoping everyone's scanned the QR code by now. When you click generate, give it a second, it takes about 60 seconds because it goes off to a couple of different AIs. But now what happens is we can start to see all of your ideas. Okay, because look, quick caveat, there's nothing special technically about this. You can do this on ChatGPT on your phone, but because I've built this little web app, right, we can now see all of your ideas coming in real time. So here, getting back to Zen, I love this. Look, we want to have a Buddha moment. We want to have a moment of meditation at events to help people connect. Okay, we've got people standing in a circle. We've got the AirPods Pro, which I mentioned, bring Henry. Thank you. Yes, you're my favorite person. It's all anonymous, so I don't know what everyone's drawn. Okay, people wearing AI glasses, and it tells you who you're connected to on LinkedIn. Okay, and you can see them, they're coming in thick and fast. This is so cool. Okay, I'm just going to freeze this because they're going to keep on coming in, the examples, but I just want to look at a couple. So we've got matching rooms. We've got someone who's really confused and someone else is enlightened. Can we connect people who know it all with people who don't know anything? Can we bring people together with art? I love this, right? So for all of the technology, maybe we just want an art station. Okay, so we're going to gather data. We're going to have a human scavenger hunt. I love this. Okay, so on your phone, you will see from this results, you can see you actually get 3 images, okay? So look, we've got all of these great ideas. We've got, okay, like a presentation karaoke to come together. So we've got all of these examples, and look, we only have a few minutes together. So I'm gonna unfreeze this and go back to the presentation. There are more of your results coming in. My final slide, if you want to get access to all of these images, all of these ideas, and a whole bunch of bonus content, then I will share, there's a QR code on my final slide where we can go back and I'll drop them all in a Dropbox link. But what I want to do, okay, is I just want to have a few quick takeaways just to wrap up, because I think there's something so powerful about this. You've just witnessed this very, very quickly. This is just a few minutes. If I do this for 20 minutes, half an hour, we can go a bit deeper. But 3 quick thoughts before I go. Right, number 1, so much of the media narrative is around automation. We're going to be put out of a job, right? And we've been discussing that this isn't the case already at this event. But when it comes to sharing ideas, okay, you will see that those images that you've shared, they're obviously not great. You're not going to put them in front of your customers. But if you're thinking about internally with an organization, empowering people to share their ideas, people who feel embarrassed about sharing a sketch, right, this very rough sketch, you're not going to share that with your colleagues perhaps, but you might share this AI generated image, right? It makes it so much easier to share because the idea is not 100% yours. You can say that wasn't quite what I meant, right? So I think what this really is about empowering people to share their ideas. The other thing is about AI and creativity. We hear so much about AI and automation. Some of you will have noticed that under your image results, you have a couple of buttons, right? This was just this fun idea that I had. We hear so much about AI agents automating everything for us. And I thought, what if we use them in a slightly more creative way? What if we had 2 AI agents, one of whom thinks it's the worst idea in the world, the other one thinks it's the best idea in the world, and they're arguing. So what you will see in your results is entirely AI generated image from your sketch of this WhatsApp conversation, right? But there's a more serious business use for this. We've also prepared, again, if it worked for you, you will have an AI generated business plan of how might you prototype, how might you test your idea, who would be interested in it, which customer groups, right? And again, it's pretty high level. If you're a senior strategist, if you're a leader, an entrepreneur, you probably can, know a lot of this stuff. But if you work in finance or if you work in law, you don't know how to launch innovation. So this can be a really useful tool to break the blank page. And because the real value of what we've just done in a tiny moment, right, is I think give people the confidence to share their ideas, which will bring new voices into the conversation, new, more diverse voices, which, as we know, is really important when it comes to innovation. And the final thing, as I said, you've just heard about Google Notebook, right? If I have a slightly longer on stage, I actually do this live. We can create a podcast from all of your images, right? We can, create a mind map of what the collective room. So if you ask 300 people within an organization, I don't know, from Unilever, from Nestle, which product should we sell next year? You can get 300 ideas back in, as you've seen, 5-10 minutes, and then you can start to mine all of that data for what are our team talking about, right? So look, it's been super quick. Thank you so much, Liz and Club Ichi, for having me. But I hope what you've experienced in a brief moment is the power of AI to bring people together in the moment at an event and surface value from the attendees and not just you guys putting on an event. So if you, as I said, if you want to get access to all of these images, the podcast, the mind map, and I'll share some other bonus content with you, please do scan that QR code and I'll drop it into the Dropbox afterwards. Liz, thank you so much for having me.
Henry, thank you so much for being here. The moment that you were like, I want to get involved, and we brought you into the planning meeting and the team was like, okay, yes, we absolutely had to do this, because it's not just about having the AI tools that can help you be productive and things. It is truly AI helping people connect, helping people, like you said, get a place where they maybe weren't comfortable doing it before. I am a terrible artist. This was mine that you told me to do. I don't think I could have done any better had I actually spent time on it. But when I put it into AI, it creates this thing. And I think we're seeing a lot of agencies start to use AI for concepting now. And we're seeing, people who aren't writers, but they can now post on LinkedIn because they're using AI to help them. So again, helping them connect with more people. It's just an incredible opportunity. So thank you again for being with us, Henry. And for those of you that are watching, Henry's information and all of the resources that he mentioned will be included in our Club Ichi Resource Center. So look at ichi.circle.co. All those resources will be available to you. And of course, Henry is also a main stage presenter, and you probably want him at your event if you run events and want to talk about AI. So that is something else for you. Now we're going to bring up the Q&A portion of this conversation. So we're going to bring up a few of our team leaders to answer your questions. As I mentioned before, this was definitely a drinking from a fire hose moment for you to see how we did this, but it was also that for us to figure out how the heck we could do this. So let's find out from our team leads what their biggest challenges were. Are we bringing them on stage?
We've shown you the chaos, the workflows, the wins, and the fails. But what good is a human-bot experiment without letting you poke at it a little? It's time for our Q&A session. Please welcome back to the stage our fearless leaders from all 7 teams. The folks behind marketing, production, partnerships, metrics and surveys, attendee experience, content, and the post-event book of how. These are the brains behind the bots. The people who argued with prompts, wrangled platforms, and survived more AI side quests than they probably signed up for. So go ahead, ask them anything. About the tools they used, the surprises they found, what they'd never try again, or how they managed to keep their sanity. No question is too big, too small, or too weird. Well, unless it's weird. Let's get into it. Q&A time with the humans who made this whole experiment possible.
Look at this team. Oh my goodness. Y'all are amazing and you're incredible leaders. And the people that you had working with you too, they were, to what Sarah Beth said earlier, it's not just the folks on screen. There were dozens more people that were helping pull this thing together. Which one of you had the hardest job? Raise your hand. I love it. Which one of you had the easiest job? Dax. Fantastic. Well, I would love to know when you were starting the process, as we talked about, what we did were identify the work streams for an event like this, identify some leaders for the work streams, and then figure out which actual tasks could be automated by AI. What was that process like for you? What tasks did you go through? Was it like old school checklist, here's what we do in events, or how did that work?
Who wants to start?
Michelle, I want to start with you.
Well, let's see. I definitely went back to my, my go-to, like planning my checklist and what I do automatically. But then I also went back to like the resource that we created on the first day with, putting together all the different AI tools. And that was really helpful for me to really, dial in on which one I was going to select from. And I also
let's talk about those tools. I looked at that spreadsheet and there were 61 tools on that list. And that was just scratching the surface. So was it it was everybody get in there and start just listing tools? Was that step one?
That was step one. Yes. And then I wanted to actually try a new one because, I always like to try new things. And so that's when I discovered the Manus AI. But there were other ones that I'm hoping to actually, when I have a free moment, to go back and actually really see, what they can do for me in my event process. But Manus AI was, for me, it was a game changer.
I love that. Well, thank you. So another question that has actually come in from the YouTube channel. After doing this and leveraging AI, do you feel like you felt more connected as a team or disconnected as a team? And then we'll take that into the event side of things. So Anka, I would love to know that answer from you because you put a lot of AI automation in place to help the team see progress, see status, see all of these things. Do you think that helped everyone?
I mean, I can't speak for all the teams, but I can definitely speak for our team. And I can say that 100% we did feel connected. And I think beyond AI, really what keeps that connection going is being able to collaborate, right? Being able to see face, get on Zoom, have those conversations, agree and disagree on course of action. And all of that has happened. And that's the way things should happen, where you are able to connect with your team and talk about, what the scope of work is, and then each go to in your own direction after the plan has been set, and work on the things that you are championing. And I think that's what happened with us, and we did a pretty darn good job. We stayed connected the whole time. I think we're the only team that started with the number that we are right now and stayed the whole time. Nobody dropped, nobody got, so busy that they couldn't handle it, or they just didn't finish the task. And I'm really proud of our team for doing that.
Yeah, I'm proud of everybody that got involved in this, because even if you did have something come up and you had to drop and do other things, being a part of it, being willing to get in here and play with AI, I think was, that's a really good personality step, because it's coming for us. And I used to say that no, AI will not replace us, but I am fairly confident after this that there's a future where it will replace a lot of things. Not yet, because I don't think anything any of you did in this program worked perfectly first time out of the gate. Did anybody have anything that worked perfectly?
No, not at all.
I love it. And Natasha, I know you vibe coded that main site, the brains behind the bots, clubichi.ai. How many hours did it take for you to go back and forth with AI to get that looking the way you wanted it?
I mean, probably less than 2 hours in totality, maybe 3 if I'm being generous. But yeah, with pretty much collecting all the information, with chat and having all the files integrated in my project, the site structure essentially took me a few minutes. The prompt took me a minute, and then vibe coding it was just going in and tweaking it once I gave it the prompt. So the time takes the longest if your prompt is not, there, right? So if you spend a little bit of time making sure that prompt matches, what you're looking for, and then matching it with the correct language for, proper UI, UX and web design, and integrating that into your prompt, then the agent itself will just blow your mind when you see how quickly it will create this site within minutes, pretty much. And then, 2 to 3 hours max with refining, and and that piece is me going in and adding additional components. So, that's one thing that part of my thing was adding, using different websites that have components, which are different code snippets for different animations or features or things. So I got to play with that, and, was able to add in a little bit of extra flair to certain parts with the, different AI tools. But yeah, about 2 to 3 hours max.
That's awesome. So how many of you used a tool that you had to pay for? Can I see, raise your hand so I can see? Okay, so of those that you paid for, what do you think you absolutely need to pay for to make it work? Dara, what did you use on the marketing front?
I extensively use ChatGPT Pro. I think if I was using the basic version, I would have well exceeded my limits. We did a ton of prompting in that. And then we did end up, in order to be able to use any of the more complex backend integrations, we had to use OpenAI's API key in the backend to connect ChatGPT with automation platforms like Make.com. So both of those require a paid account. But I will say, I left this out of my slides, but our whole automation that we did with Glitch, I think it cost 25 cents, which was crazy. It was so cheap. You do have to pay for it, but I loaded $5 in the back end, and then it only ended up costing 25 cents in the end.
Wow, that's cool. Well, Arthur, I think you have a different perspective. You paid more money on Glitch. What happened?
Well, I already subscribe to a bunch of AI video and image generation platforms. A lot of the heavy lifting was done with Google's Nano Banana, which is currently free to a certain extent, but there's plenty of free credits available for tons of image generation. Then you can do up to, I think, 10 video generations with VO. So yeah, I mean, then we use Kling AI, which is a really, really cool generative image generation, and also image to video generation. So some of the animated portions of Glitch, walking on stage or dancing around, was done using Kling.ai. And I'm a big believer that you have to pay for these tools. The free versions are very limited. Someone asked in the YouTube, like the top 3 AIs to pay for. I think ChatGPT, it's $20 for the pro account, and it has per month, and it has great memory. That's what I love about ChatGPT, is like it knows me the best. But then Claude, I love for vibe coding, especially like Claude Code, but even Claude Desktop. Claude Desktop is extremely powerful now because it has the MCP integrations. So unlike an API that Natasha was mentioning about, so an API is where you can pull information from a site. So let's say I want to bring in Facebook profiles onto my Reg site. I can use the Facebook API to pull that in to my Reg site, so I show everybody's Facebook profiles. But with an MCP, it's 2 ways. So I can pull the information, the Facebook profile, and then say, change the image on my Facebook profile. And that's all from the chat window. So now you can chat with your apps using the MCPs, which was created by Anthropic. So they created MCPs, and ChatGPT is now integrating MCPs, but it's very limited in how you can use it. So that's why I would pay for Claude, because now I can just, in Claude, I can ask on the desktop app, I can say, organize my inbox, draft an email to every event professional that I've ever known about XYZ, include the links from my website, go into my file folder, clean up all my downloads. It's unbelievable what you can do with it. So Claude is definitely worth the money. And the third one, I don't know. So image generation of some kind is very good.
I wanted to second that, because definitely would go with Claude, but then I also maxed up my memory on my Mac to like 99% at one point when I was running Claude code on the desktop. So there's definitely pros and benefits, but do be aware that some of your resources will be highly taxed, and you might just shut down your computer without knowing what just happened.
Well, I want to just thank all of you so much for leading work streams, participating in all of these things that we've been doing over the last 7 weeks. It has put together a really fun event for us to explore. We have a few more things for us to talk through, but all of our team leads and some of the folks that have been working on this are going to join us in the after party on Zoom after this. So stay tuned. If you have more time and want to hang around and ask real deep questions and figure out how this works, we will throw that link up in just a few moments. So thanks, team. It was so amazing to have you all here. And I think now we're going to bring up some of our partners.
Well, look at us, settling in by the fire, pipe in hand, suit slightly too shiny. Don't worry, it's not AI-generated tweed. Welcome to our fireside chat with the sponsors. Yes, there's an actual fire on screen. No, it's not a stock video. Probably. These are the folks who didn't just fuel this experiment. They're out there building the future of events in AI in real time. So tonight, we trade the PowerPoints for a firecrackle soundtrack, and we get to hear from them directly. Joining us, we will have Give, making giving simple and impactful. Gotcha Finder, not launched yet, but already causing intrigue. TK Events, the platform making sure this event looks like an event, not a group chat gone rogue. Snapsight, the AI with more data insights than I have corrupted files. Noonify, the event tech toolkit with a gadget for basically everything. Nowadays, the creative force blending design, AI, and strategy into what's next. And moderating these chats is none other than our fearless leader, Liz, founder of Club Ichi. She dreamed up this experiment, wrangled all of us into shape, and now she's here to guide the conversation with the sponsors who made it possible. So warm your hands on the glow of innovation, or at least your laptop screen, and let's dive into our fireside chat with the sponsors.
And let's be clear, co-founder of Club Ichi, because Nicole Achibodu is in the other room being the chat master. She also is part of this crazy experience that we have. So I just wanted to bring in a few of the folks that helped us make this thing happen so that we can find out what it means to have a tool that is AI infused. So I've got a few folks that are going to join me. Peter with TK Events to chat about this platform a little bit that we did there. Dan Locke with Give. I want to hear all about the AI infused giving tool. Vamshi, we haven't even had a chance to talk yet, but I know that we've been using Snapsight in the background to do incredible things. Matt, you have an entire event registration platform engagement tool, AI infused. What the heck does that mean? And Faith, Gotcha Finder hasn't even launched yet, but it is AI powered. So I just want to hear what it means to you to be AI infused. And Vamshi, I know that yours is like, it's not even AI infused. It is like AI powered, and it goes into AI and it pulls AI out. What does Snapsight do?
Yeah, so with Snapsight, we are into real-time content. We are like the note taker for live events, and then we go much beyond than that. So we do live insights, and then the vision of Snapsight is to become a notebook LLM like you posted on your LinkedIn for live events.
So I know that we've been using Snapsight here for the analytics behind. Like, what does it mean? What did we do? How did we get it there? What are we measuring?
Okay. What we are doing is we are capturing every spoken word in here, and then we are doing a summary of that. So you get small little takeaways from every single session that you are doing.
Okay.
So if you go back, you'll be able to get your notes. And
Okay.
then for a large event, let's say IMEX America, there are 160 sessions. You'll not go through 160 summaries. That's where we produce a much more concise summary of 5-6 pages so that you will be able to get a very quick read.
Okay, amazing. So for those of you that are watching, you can go into this platform, and if you look over on the main stage, I believe there's a QR code. So people can just check that QR code and get access to transcripts and updates and summaries and all of that from this event. Well, thank you so much for working with us and allowing us to pull you into this program. Peter, I want to chat with you about this because when we first talked to TK Events about using this virtual creator platform here, there wasn't AI naturally embedded, and there still isn't, right? And so this is an opportunity for you to take tools that are open and available to bring in things to enhance it, right? Tell me a little bit about this tool.
Absolutely. So, I mean, first of all, we're super grateful to be hosting this hackathon. I think when we first built out this virtual studio, we wanted to just create a space where people could kind of share ideas, and just seeing all the technology, the creativity that you guys have brought, the community, everyone in the chat, just so many passionate, innovative event professionals. We're super grateful to be hosting this. So the platform itself was kind of developed out of necessity. We were doing a lot of virtual events just after the pandemic, and a lot of it required some deep technical work. So we've kind of created it as a demand to just kind of help event professionals create this experience without that deep technical work. So we're agnostic to many different third parties, registration systems, chats, different interactive tools. We have our exhibitor booths in the other room you can check out, document sharing. So we're really just looking to put that kind of creativity in the event planner's hands. Similar to vibe coding, it's not necessarily that, but just allowing you to embed all these different tools in the space, and obviously and prioritize some privacy first principles. So we don't host any of the personal data that's in the platform. It all goes through third-party vendors, and it really just allows the event planners to integrate whatever tools they want. And for instance, Snapsight, we had never worked with before, and they're in the platform today. So
I think it's great. It's been a really nice kind of, it's almost like vanilla ice cream, it's this fantastic solid base, and then you can add sprinkles and chocolate sauce. You can put all of these things in it. And we were able to use AI tools to make the backgrounds and to kind of change up the things that happened in there. So we really appreciate the opportunity to test and try out this tool. And we know that we'll be gathering some feedback to share with you as the product comes to market.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so Dan Locke, you and I have been having some conversations for a while, and initially there wasn't a whole lot of AI behind this giving thing. We heard Dara and Natasha or somebody earlier in the program talking about giving and gifting. And Dan, you and I had been talking about your tool at Give, about how you can use gifting to book meetings. But now we're talking from an event perspective, how you can use Give to have conversations, get leads, and actually do something good for the world. But tell me a little bit about what the tool is first, and then how you're using AI now.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a spectacular event. So Give helps turn generosity into growth. We are a modern gifting platform that replaces swag and expensive gifting vendors with something more meaningful, charitable donations. So with Give, an event marketer can offer to donate to a charity chosen by event attendees. So our product uses AI in a number of different ways, but to build landing pages through the use of a QR code, attendees can scan and they can schedule meetings with marketers or field teams at the same time that they choose charities from that page.
I think what I loved, you and I talked about the opportunity of bringing this platform to like a live trade show and having somebody put their LinkedIn profile in and then letting AI explore their LinkedIn profile and then suggest what charities might align with their background. Is that able, you can do that virtually, you can do that in person?
Yeah, so we're still testing, it's in beta, but our first of its kind charity predictor AI does exactly that. So a person can enter their LinkedIn URL into the tool, and it will run through an advanced algorithm that we're using, and it will match certain charities to keywords that are on that person's LinkedIn profile. And we're working on enhancing it so they can just enter their business email address, and it will be a lot easier.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you being here with us today, and I cannot wait to leverage Give for the Club Ichi telethon that'll be coming up on December 5th. So everybody keep an eye out for that one. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Matt, you and I have been talking for a while about attendee engagement and event engagement and meetings and networking and bringing people together. But tell me a little bit about Noonify. So just so everybody has some orientation as to what the actual platform does.
Absolutely. So Noonify stands for Networks Unified, but we are event tech, so an event management platform really from beginning to end, from registration to ticketing to the event app itself, badge design, badge printing, and we do offer equipment and on-site support these days as well.
So where does AI fit into that? Because I think originally, like months and maybe even a year ago now, IMEX, we were talking about like AI matchmaking. Is that something that you're doing in there?
Yeah, so AI matchmaking is in there where we do have it. It can be a combination of what you want and AI. So it does use AI to kind of see, like, it'll read their profile to see how they're using the event app, and then you can match people together that way. But it also, you can set it up to where maybe only this group matches with that group. That way you can get like specific scenarios going so that, depending on the type of event that might be needed.
That's awesome. So is AI being used, or can people use whatever you've got embedded to build out their actual event? Or where else do you see it inside there?
Yes, well, there's actually quite a few places because we're continuing to come out with new features. But we do have like an attendee front desk. Currently calling it Zuno, but it does act like Copilot. So it can answer, questions pre-registration about the event, after registration, during the actual event itself. So like, for example, you can say during like pre-registration, what can I expect from the event? It'll give you an answer there. Or what type of people are attending this event? And then like during the event, maybe like, you want to ask about when a certain session is, or, where you can find a certain speaker at, kind of just different things like that. Just any data about the event that is present, you can easily get with just a question to the AI desk chat agent.
I love that. And I know, having used some tools that have this opportunity where you can load in basically the event Bible of everything that exists and have that automated ability to just answer those customer service questions so that the event professionals can focus on the being in person and the handling other things. I love that.
Correct.
Awesome. I'm going to come back to you again. Thank you, Matt. Faith, your product hasn't even launched yet, but when you told me what Gotcha Finder was, I was like, this is awesome. Tell us about it. Oh, we can't hear you. Unmute. Oh, remuted. Try again. Nope, that actually muted you. See, we still haven't solved the AI problem of muting and unmuting.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay, yeah, I had to get out of Zoom. Okay, so here I am at the messy, homey headquarters of Gotcha Finder that I share with my kids and dogs. And we are so excited because, well, first of all, I'm just beyond excited to be with everybody in this fun club. It's just been amazing. And I did want to talk about you guys, though, because I'm concerned. Lots of surveys show that event planner is either the 5th or even the 2nd most stressful job in the United States. And yeah, I'm sure everybody here is aware of that. And so my mission is to help you guys with that. And one of the things that I hear over and over again is high fees are a problem. And when you really get into a conversation about what high fees means, it can mean hidden fees that you get slapped with at the end of an event that you didn't expect. It can also mean contracts that are written in such a way that it would have been hard to understand them. And people especially if it's like a medium-sized event, they might sign that contract without reading it carefully. And the hotels know this. And so we want to fight back. And one of the ways that we can fight back is by clever use of AI to find those hidden fees in the contract. And then the value add that Gotcha Finder has over just using ChatGPT for that is that I incorporated the wisdom of event planners, some of them here in this club, who knew what to look for in the contracts. And this is really key, what's not in the contract. Because I'll give you a real world example. My friend Deirdre Baker Watson, who's a wonderful event planner in Canada, she was planning an event in Miami for a year that had 2 towers, and there was no construction clause in the contract, which she didn't notice until she showed up, and the one tower was scheduled to be demolished on the day of her seminar in the other tower. And that was only then that she noticed, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice no construction clause in the contract. So Gotcha Finder can spot what's not there that you might want to negotiate with your hotel owner before the sales rep before you sign the contract.
I love this. This is so cool. Okay, so when
Thank you.
All of the technology that all 5 of you are working on and creating. So Faith, yours is obviously going to catch legal challenges, budget implications, things that are truly going to impact the bottom line of an event. I would love to hear from some of the others. Like, where do you think that your technology is enhancing the job of an event professional rather than just being another tool they have to go learn? Matt, I want to start with you. Unmute.
Good call. Well, similar to Faith, we do strive to remove stress from event planning, organizers, event planners. And we actually are creating a product right now that is, called the back office. But it's going to be to kind of help automate, RFPs. It'll look at budget, task management, just everything that happens behind the scenes to help create an event. It's a place that attaches to the platform to where you can create it all. And then in conjunction with it, a couple clicks of the button, you can create your event as well.
That's incredible. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Vamshi, okay, how are people finding their jobs easier leveraging Snapsite?
Yeah. So with Snapsite, one of the core beliefs that we have is that events are creating great content, but that content is getting wasted immediately once an event is done. And we are trying to make it very simple so that you'll be able to repurpose your content, but also get intelligence from it, so that you can use your existing content, whatever you have produced this year, and you'll be able to use it to plan for the next year. That usually gets lost in the process because it is very manual. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Dan, how are you making event professionals' lives easier?
So one really cool way is by showing you're human. While our product uses AI, we like to say we're human first. So, and here's a great example of how you can use it at an event to make getting someone's contact information and even scheduling a meeting with them on the spot more seamless. You say something like, hey, did you know that less than 10% of people ever connect after they meet at a trade show or event? Well, as part of my commitment to meeting with you and creating more of a lasting impression, I would love to donate to a charity that you get to choose. Would you mind scanning my QR code? And when they do that, you can actually schedule from the same exact page and say, can we schedule a meeting for a couple weeks out? Oh, thank you for choosing American Cancer Society. I really appreciate that organization. I have a family member affected by it. And it's going to make you seem a lot more memorable. And it's going to make getting someone's contact information a lot more human.
That's really cool. Thank you. So Peter, you created this virtual creator studio to make people's lives easier. Is it working?
Yeah, it's been a big help for us. I mean, first of all, we've got what we call a no-code venue builder, right? So event planners can just fully design their virtual spaces like the one you're seeing today. I do encourage everyone to have a look in the lobby, the expo hall, the resource room. All that was built without really needing any technical experience or any software developers.
That's true. So I can vouch for that.
Yeah. It was Michelle from Club Ichi who did a fantastic job just doing all that herself. And for those that are more tech savvy like her, we actually do have a feature where you can add your own custom code if you did want to make further changes. Not to mention, we do streamline our registration process. So we are partnered with a few registration platforms. So just by
Peter, you need to talk to Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw Noonify, I looked them up. Looked up the website. So super keen. We're really agnostic. Just by kind of directly connecting with reg platforms, I think you don't really have to juggle all these multiple systems or manually import data. So that definitely makes the event planner's life easier.
Yeah, that's super amazing. Okay, so we talked about how every single one of you are helping the event professionals' lives become easier, but let me just point out how you are also helping the participants who are coming to these events' lives easier, because Faith, in your great example, the attendees would not have to listen to a tower get demolished while they're in the middle of their general session. So that's amazing. Peter, you're putting together a great experience that people can come into. They can easily navigate into an expo hall, into resources, and find out exactly how to get to the main room. Dan, you are helping attendees feel like they are doing something better for the world by taking a meeting. Vamshi, you are helping attendees pay attention and be present because the notes are being taken for them. And then the data that exists there, people are going to be able to understand what is best for them in the future, because now the event professionals can figure out what they need out of it. And Matt, the participants that are registering and experiencing all of the interactivity inside Noonify makes their on-site or virtual program even better for all of them. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely.
I love it. Okay, so every single one of you has a little booth inside of our resource center on the Virtual Creator Studio. I'm going to be talking to each of you a whole lot more over the next month, and we're going to share all of your information with our participants here. Thank you so much for being here with us today and for supporting us in Club Ichi and this incredible team that put this together. So fun. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, listen, friends, this was unbelievably 2 hours, a brief overview of what we've been doing over the last month and a half. Now the real work begins. How will you use AI to build out your next event? So we are building out the book of how in the Club Ichi community so that you'll be able to see the prompts that we've used, the tools that we've used, and everything in between. That book. We're going to debrief next Wednesday, which all of our planning meetings, including next Wednesday's debrief, have been live streamed to our YouTube channel. So you can watch that as well and contribute your feedback, everything that you have questions about, and we'll include those. On October 8th is when we will launch the final book of how. But in the meantime, you can go to ichi.circle.co to see what we have so far. So there were the videos that Joanna shared you from Notebook LM that show the story of this. There's some blog posts, there's some podcasts that were created, and we're starting to put in all of those resources. But now, if you have immediate questions and you want to meet the team that put this thing together, come celebrate with us. We are going to go to the after party. We are hopping into the Zoom link that we've been using every single week to have these conversations. We're going to drop that Zoom link over on YouTube, and we're going to drop it into the Virtual Creator Studio so that everybody can come hang out with us. We will wrap this stream up now, and we will see you over on the Zoom. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If we don't see you in the Zoom, we will definitely talk to you every 5 minutes on every other platform that exists. And yes, it's really us. It's not all automated, except where it is. Thanks again for being here with us today.
We made it. When this event began, I was a young, sprightly bot full of corrupted code and caffeine. And now, after 1 million years of AI demos, workshop games, Q&A, and one actual fire, I am but a wrinkled algorithm. My hard drive creaks when I stand. But let me tell you, what a ride. You've heard from the 7 teams who pulled this thing off. You've poked at the bots, survived my jokes, and maybe even learned a thing or two you'll actually use in real life. And hey, not bad for 90 minutes that felt like several geological eras. Before I shuffle back into the digital ether, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Give, Gotcha Finder, TK Events, Snapsite, Noonify, and Nowadays, for keeping the lights on and the Wi-Fi humming. And of course to Liz and the whole Club Ichi crew, for dreaming this up, holding the emergency brake, and proving that the brains behind the bots are still very much human. Now go forth, you glorious meat and machine beings. Use AI wisely, or recklessly. Either way, just don't let it write your out-of-office emails. This is Ancient Glitch, signing off. Good night, goodbye, and may your prompts always return something usable.
Liz, let's unmute.
Thank you, everybody. I now have the mute problem. So we're going to see you all over in the Zoom if you want to hang out with us at the after party. The Virtual Creator Studio has the link. So does the YouTube channel, and we will see you in Zoom. Thanks, everyone.
It's moving fast, ways of thinking, they just won't last.